What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, we have one of the legends in this basketball game out here in the San Fernando Valley and even nationally, if you want to call it that, Mr. Derrick Taylor.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I've been kind of missing some appointments. My apologies.
No, it's all good, man. Everything happens for a reason. We're here today and excited to hear your journey, your story, and your insight about this game of basketball. We start this show off with the wall of hoop movies. Your favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
Well, it's two of them, but I see one over on the wall there. A White Man Can't Jump. That was entertaining. But I was a kid and I grew up and I loved the Fisher Save Pittsburgh. I remember like Norm Nixon and everybody was in it, and it was funny, And I recognized a lot of the NBA guys, and so it was pretty cool. It's more for entertainment purposes, but I was a young kid and enjoyed it.
No, for sure. I don't think anybody in our generation has seen this. My generation and below, like you gotta know hoop to know this movie.
Yeah, you gotta know hoop or you gotta be hella old. 'Cause that's from we talking from the '70s, so ain't a whole lot of us around. You was really watching it like that, but it was good. It was entertaining for sure. It was the very beginning of cable TV when I seen it as well.
Oh dang, you are old. Okay.
Oh, I'm
old.
old.
Hey,
I'm gonna agree. I ain't putting up no fight on that one.
No. So when did you fall in love with basketball?
Actually, I was a football player. As a football player and a baseball player, the neighborhood I grew up in supposed to be in the Fremont area. Eric Davis, and then Strawberry played at other parks, and then Chili Davis. We called him Chili Bowl. So we were a baseball community, and then we played football all the time. I didn't start playing basketball. I started late. I didn't start to maybe ninth grade.
Okay.
Yeah, and a gangster, crazy as a kid who just got out of juvenile hall. Came on campus, I was in middle school, and I was pushing the ball, and I shot it. And he said, no, let me teach you how to shoot. So yeah, a kid right out of juvenile hall taught me how to shoot basketball, and I played with him every day, and I started liking it. And I picked it up late, but yeah.
That's how you started.
Yeah, and that's how I started playing basketball.
Man, that's the classic way. I love it, man.
I know, just accidental. I was more of a football guy.
Yep. And then so you played through your high school career. So you grew up in LA, but you were bussed out to the Valley. To Taft.
Yeah, it was early stages of busing. Like I started, I came out in '75. I'm old, to Woodland Hills Academy, which at the time was named Parkman, and so we were in the early stages of busing. So it wasn't very many black folks out here at all. When I started at Taft in 1978, there was only 42 black kids in the entire school.
Man, what was busing like that experience? Right, we hear about it, we don't experience it now. Maybe in some forms or fashions, but like actually being bused from your neighborhood into a total suburban place. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a trip because you figure we were getting up. First off, the cultural thing was different. Many of us never been around anybody other than black folks, and then maybe occasional Hispanic kid family, but we'd never interacted with white folks before. And so that was a trip, getting bused out to the Valley and seeing a whole new culture. People talk totally different music, different lifestyles. We thought everybody in the Valley was rich, because we were from the East Side. We had nothing, so that was a pretty fun experience. I mean, it was an enlightening experience. My mother decided I had to do it because my mother said she felt that I could not get through life being limited on my socialization. If I just stayed in the hood, I'm only gonna know one way. I'm not gonna ever be able to branch out. And so I was one of us and maybe one other family. We were the only two families that were bused out of the community.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't stay in the hood to go to school.
Wow. And so that was in middle school when you first made that jump, and then transitioned to high school.
High school, yeah. And then like you was asking about it, you getting up, at the bus stop. You have to be at the bus stop generally about between 6:15 and 6:30 every day. Man. Yeah, so it's tough. Then you ride the bus to school. And then for me, it was longer because then we practiced after school. And then we had to catch the late bus, would leave at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I would get home generally 7:30, 8 o'clock sometimes. So you're talking 14-hour days.
And then eat, go to sleep, and
go back to sleep, and expect to do homework and all that. You keep in mind, a lot of us had no money. Like I was very poor. So after I ate lunch, I didn't eat again until I got home because we had no money. I got 50 cents a day for lunch. Then my mother splurged on my senior year. My father got a job a better job, and my mother's had to give me $1 a day. Yeah, $1 a day, man. Yeah, and on Fridays, my mother. You know, my mother saved money all week. We'd get $5. I would get $5. Me and my sister, because we would stay for after school for the football game, and we split the $5. But we know how to make it work, so we were happy.
When you don't have it, you know how to make whatever you
make
get
it
work.
happen, yeah, and you value it. So yeah, it was good for us.
What did basketball provide for you? You know, them long days, you found something that you liked and you fell in love with during those high school years. What did it provide for you in like the overall landscape of your life?
You know, even back then, it provided like stability in terms of like friendship, relationships. All of a sudden, I was going to, I was introduced to a whole new world. Started meeting new friends. I started going to people's houses, seeing different cultures, building a total bond. Like two of my best friends to this day was because of basketball at Taft. You know, and I'm still, a lot of the guys on the team, they still support me. We're still really good friends. We never ever fell out, you know, separated. We still stay together. So I think just a bond, a friendship, something I'd never experienced before. And that unity, yeah, that was the biggest thing.
How competitive was LA City? Where that was still LA City at the time, yeah. So how competitive was it?
Well, LA City was everything at that time. I mean, okay, CIF, Modern Day hadn't become Modern Day yet. You had Long Beach Poly's always good, Pasadena was good, you know, St. Bernard's was super good, and then Verbum Day. And then you had other sprinkling other CIF schools. But mainly the powerhouses was LA Unified. Because, I mean, Dorsey was a powerhouse, and Westchester was emerging, and then Crenshaw was just, you know, incredible, and then Fremont was powerful, and Manual was extremely powerful. Down in the valley, you had Cleveland with Bobby Braswell back in the 80s. They were a superpower. And then Kennedy with Darren Day and those guys, they can come play a little bit. So everything was, and Palisades had a lot of talent. Good God, they were talented. So everything, and then Carson had a lot of talent. So it was you had to go through LA Unified to, to be something. We were like what Southern, like where you got Sierra Canyon, Notre Dame, and all the schools are now. The LA Unified was like that. Right. And then when you look at the rankings, maybe in the top 10, you have 4 or 5 LA Unified schools there. You have to get through them.
Man.
Yeah.
And then so your experience playing basketball, so you just played till your senior year.
Yeah.
How did that mold you as a coach? Like, how did you transition from being a player to becoming, you became a coach like right after you graduated, right?
Yeah, well, I went to junior college.
Okay.
First.
Okay.
So yeah, what molded me was like our coach, I enjoyed it. And then I went to junior college. I left from junior college 2 years, Yuba College up in Marysville, which is one of the better junior colleges in the state of California. And we went up there, me and a bunch of friends, and we had a good run up there. Then I came home. I had an offer to go to Chico State. And, by then I had a little girlfriend, and I wanted to kind of stay close to home. And then I was kind of burnt with basketball, so I decided just to become a student at CSUN. And then a friend of mine, my best friend, he was interviewing at San Diego State to join their staff. So he goes down to San Diego State for the interview, and then the JV coach, the varsity coach needs somebody to fill in for JV for Summer League. And he said, Derrick, can you just come fill in for Brad for Summer League? I said, sure, I got it. And I never left. The moment I stood on the sideline, I didn't know what I was doing. I was comfortable. Yeah. And I said, I kind of like this. And that was the day, summer of like 87. Wow. And I never changed, stayed with it from that day, yeah.
What was it about that moment or standing on that sideline that gave you purpose?
I don't know, it was interesting. You just like, I felt, it was just a niche. I felt, because he told me, Jim Woodard, he told me, he was a coach at the time, he just said, hey, just be yourself, and I know you're inexperienced, but coach off of your instincts. And so I naturally started thinking how I wanted to be talked to and how I wanted to coach, and then started coaching off my instincts from things I learned in junior college, things I learned in high school. And I don't know, when I was a player, I was always told I was kind of a smart player. Even though I started the game late, I'm kind of like anal about certain things. I want to know details because I want to learn it. Yeah. And so I learned the game kind of fast. And so I was able to, I felt comfortable trying to teach it.
Man. Yeah. And how did you develop as a coach from that point, moving on? You felt that passion and you knew this is what you were going to do. So how'd you develop?
Well, then, once I started that, then I started, start studying other people, looking at we didn't have much of an internet, none of that during those times. So you had to get material, find material, reading books all the time, asking a bunch of questions. And then I always had a style I wanted to play. I used to like the old Crenshaw way. I used to like a lot of ball pressure and so on. So I wanted to figure out how to develop it, and I wanted to study the game. So I stayed as a JV coach longer than most, because I remember Border Scoto was coaching when I was coaching. A few other guys. I watched all the JV guys who I started with. They were head coaches maybe 4 or 5 years before me. I stayed a little bit longer because I really didn't feel I was ready yet, and I wanted to keep learning. So I stayed on the JV level quite a while to figure it out. But yeah, I just learned my style by just watching people and seeing things, how I like to be talked to and things I like to do. I want to see if I can teach it. But at the same time, I started learning that don't always work. Because if you ain't got the talent to do that,
right,
you better start adjusting. So I started adjusting the zoning and everything. I didn't have too much pride when it came to that. I just wanted to try to win and figure out, not so prideful why I'm not going to change. And I wasn't willing to do that. I was willing to change and do whatever it takes to win and just what I was learning to the talent that I had.
So most great coaches have mentors. Who was your mentor in the space, and what did that provide for you?
It's interesting. It's a few. First was Jim Woodard, who, he was, when I started at Taft, he was a JV coach. Everybody loved him. He became the varsity coach at Taft for 8 years. And that's who at Taft, the floor is named after him. But he was the very first person who hired me, and I started the way he communicated, the way he taught. He was the first mentor, and he would tell me, think about this, Derrick, think about this, and clean me up a little bit. And he was big. Then also current girls coach there, Mark Drucker. Mark was big. It was pretty much the same way. They started with me. They had me from the very beginning, and so they molded me and started teaching me how to go navigate my way through coaching. But I think the biggest influence was Shimizu, Yutaka Shimizu, who, I met him later after I got I knew him when I was a JV coach, but I didn't really know. I just know he was a legendary coach, and he retired. And then when I got the coaching job at Taft, the first 2 years, I lost the first 2 years in the city in the playoffs in the first round. And many folks already at Taft was calling for my job, even though I was successful as a JV coach. I only lost 14 games in 10 years, and so they won.
As a JV coach?
Oh. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I won 144 and 16 or something like that. Yeah. Dang. And so everybody at Taft was anticipating me being a head coach, and I got it after 2 years. It was expecting me to be some miracle worker. But remember, in those days, LA Unified, the Valley schools didn't compete with the city schools.
Right.
You couldn't beat Crenshaw, Manual, and Westchester. They just dominated us. And so I wanted people to have a little patience. So I decided I had to go out and find somebody. So I went and found Shimizu.
So he's a legendary coach. So I don't know who he is.
I'll tell you a little bit about him. He started coaching in 1959, in the 50s, I think 1959. He was head at Hamilton High School, Coach Sidney Wicks, a legendary UCLA star, NBA. And then he was a coach at Kennedy High School in the 80s. Okay. Kennedy was really good. He had a lot of talent. Guys were powerful. When we would walk in the room, the guy say, Shim, get over here. It'd be John Wooden. Him and John Wooden was like best friends. They was real close. So he was real tight. But he came over to me and I needed some help. I wanted to know, where am I falling short? And I accepted it with open arms. I knew he knew more than me. I knew he was more experienced. I was hoping that I don't look like I'm a guy who don't know what I'm doing. And he cleaned me up. He just cleaned up practice, and he taught me patience, and he showed how to pace things. The biggest influence ever. Turned my whole career around.
For a young coach coming in who's coming from JV or first time varsity experience, from the lessons that you learned from him and now everything that you know as well, what is the biggest advice that you can give somebody stepping into that head coaching role with some expectations?
Well, big advice I give, and another thing, I'm not trying to name drop, but I also got this.
No, name drop. That's what this podcast is for.
Right. Pat Summitt, the legendary, if you know basketball, she was just amazing. Yeah. Longtime Tennessee coach. Pat Summitt told me, I just happened to sit in the back of, I was in a room at a banquet, and no one was sitting with her. We were in the back, and I'm this young guy, and I asked her, can I sit by her? And she said, yeah. And she said, just call me Pat. And I said, okay, Pat, your life will never be the same after now. I sat down next to her, and we started talking. And I told her I was new, I was a young coach, and she said, don't ever gave me some advice. He said, don't ever be afraid to hire someone or put someone next to you that is smarter than you. I have more knowledge than you. Do not be afraid of knowledge. That's what she told me. And so I went immediately and got Shem. I said, he knows more than me. He's a veteran, but I had to try to gain some knowledge. I wanted to get better. And I wasn't afraid of it. And that was the single most advice. A lot of young kids, a lot of young guys don't listen. They think they may know it all, but you don't know. Not until they get older. And when I think back now, year 20, from year one, I said, God, I ain't know anything. Hell, if I know what I knew now, 3 years ago, I'd have been a better coach. So you're still learning. You'll never stop learning in this game, ever.
Yeah. No, that's where the growth happens, right? When you're a student as well as a teacher. Yeah. So those 2 years of building the program is what I'm gonna call it. What changed?
Jordan Farmar. Yeah. I call it what it is. Yeah. I mean, we were good. We had Steve Smith, who I think, I got to go through the record books. I'm almost positive he's an all-time leading scorer and rebounder at Taft.
The one that's NFL.
Played with the Giants. Yeah. The other Steve, not the Steve Smith of the Carolina Panthers. The one, but the other Steve Smith played at USC. Played in the Pro Bowl 1 year, and he led the Giants. Had a big catch in Super Bowl. Won national title SCN in Super Bowl at Giants. But yeah, I had Steve was really good. Then Farm came, and then everything exploded. Because I had two high major Division I kids. Even though Steve was playing football, I still had two Division I basketball players, and I never,
Did you? I guess you could talk about it now. Like, did you recruit Farmar, or was his homeschool?
No, I got lucky with Farmar. Literally, Jordan Farmar, his mother, Mindy, is really, 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 really heavy on academics, and Jordan was a really high-end student. And at his previous school, she had made multiple phone calls to talk to teachers about his grades, just to check up on him, and she didn't get callbacks. And Mindy's a little impulsive. And when she didn't get called back like 5 or 6 attempts, she, at the semester break, middle of the season, she just took him out of school.
Where was he at first?
At Birmingham.
Really?
Yeah, she withdrew him, yeah. Birmingham, in a matter of 3 years, they lost Farmar and Gilbert Arenas.
Wow.
They both at Birmingham. Yeah. Now, how about that one?
That's crazy.
And so, I was literally walking out of Taft on the winter break, and he was coming in the door. I was walking out, and I said, "Hey, you're Jordan." And Mindy and the mom said, "Yeah." I said, "What are you guys doing there?" She said, "We're checking in." I said, "Huh?" She said, she's under no circumstances can you tell anybody. I said, "I'm not going to say anything."
Right.
And I was like, "Whoa." Yeah. And then we got him. He sat the rest of that year. Then he came back his junior year, and then we just exploded as a program. That was the first step into, we finally got in NSL because we played the big boys now.
Yeah. I remember looking at pictures that Paul Tate had. That whole squad, right, is full of college players, like 12 or 14 or something crazy like that. Just the athletes who came through. What is that experience like, coaching that much talent, knowing that all of them could probably play, start, and have a lot of minutes, but managing it to where they're not leaving and they all get to their end goals?
Yeah, I didn't know. You know what's crazy? I don't know how it happened. We would get all those kids, and some of those kids didn't become starters or main players until their senior years, and they would wait. We even had it going so well. And Paul Tate, when Paul Tate was with me, we had it going so well. I even got investigated by LA Times for this too, believe it or not. We had kids like Bryce Jones and Kevin Johnson and DeAndre Daniels. All those guys are major players. They transferred over and sat. And back in those days, maybe you had to sit 12 months.
Yeah.
They would sit their entire junior year. Who does that? They didn't even play their entire junior year. They sat in just to play with me at Taft for the senior year. And the Times, Eric Sattenheimer investigated me. We wanted to see, how's that possible? How are you getting these kids to do that? And I don't know, they just believed in me.
Yeah.
And they came over, and by then I started to produce, we started to produce players, and I don't know. It was the craziest thing ever. And then even with them sitting out, the other teams had 7 or 8 Division I guys. Managing the egos is always difficult, that's the biggest thing. How do you manage? How do you convince them that if everybody averages 8 to 10 points, we're a super team instead of one guy trying to get his all the time? And we managed to make that fit. But I was demanding on that. I didn't care that you were going to play a certain way. It was going to go. It was going to be a certain way. It was a certain energy we had to have amongst each other. That was the hard part. Then managing the parents' egos, you know.
Yeah.
Because some of the kids, we had celebrity kids as well. So now you got to manage all that. So managing parents' expectations, getting their expectations in line with yours is the most difficult.
Well, how do you do that? Do you have like a guide on
Nope.
how to do that?
I wish I did. But I didn't, because let me tell you, it ain't easy. Hey, during this whole process, I've been, I got punched by a mother. Oh, yeah.
In the face?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she hit me. Pow. I said, oh, my. I said, you didn't have to hit me because you mad. I didn't know what to say about it. I ain't never got hit before. She said, whack. I said, oh, geez, you don't have to hit me. I did. But I didn't remove her son from the team or any of that. She just hit me because she was, I don't know.
Playing time?
Yeah, playing time.
Oh,
Showing him more. And he was on a real good team. There was a whole bunch of them.
Right.
And they all were just splitting time. And it was good. You know, we was winning. We won 28, 29 games that year. But, you know, so that was the worst case scenario. The other thing is just when you're winning, people tend to be a little bit more open to it.
Yeah.
But when you start to lose, if you even with those type of teams, if you lost 2 games in a row, just 2 games, we back in those days we maybe lose 3 or 4 games a year. Right. And if we lost 2 in a row, it was like the house is on fire. Now they're mad. Everybody get mad about playing time and the little things. It's just just 2 games. So I think that we're having some success that people were buying into it, and they were just waiting their turn, and they were seeing guys were getting out going to college, so they can envision themselves being in that spot.
Yeah, and it is that important because you look at kids today, right? We have our 2 extremes, I think. Mm-hmm. You look at a kid, we'll say Elijah Arenas, who goes to a place where he can just hoop and McDonald's All-American, he's going to go to USC, you know, he's on draft boards. Yeah. But then you have a kid like Braden Burries where he's going where there's other players around him who are going to college, right? But he has the same McDonald's All-American, going to wherever he's going to go to college. Same type of situation. Like, what does it matter who you are or what you're trying to do, or should the focus always be to win and it works out for everybody, or go do your thing and build a place? Like, what's your balance between that?
I don't know. Like, I think for starters, I think parents and kids have to understand, if you're good, you're going to get it regardless. So you don't have to, I know some guys chasing build these super teams, but I know behind the scenes of super teams, everybody's miserable. It's just too much going on. It's fun, but it can be kind of miserable. I just like the path. Like, I like what Gil did with Elijah. He had his strategy was let him go somewhere and let him build, but let him face double teams. Let him put more responsibilities on him. Make him have to defend. Go guard the best player. You're gonna have to rebound, son. You got to make plays for other people. Well, that guy on that wing is not as good as he would have been if you would have been at say one of these super schools. But it made him more responsible. I like that path. I mean, some people like the super teams too. I mean, I don't knock it because I've had super teams.
I say, if you're building a team today, how would you build it? What would be the balance?
I like Elijah Arenas' approach. Only reason why, for saying your sanity, first of all. When you start building a super team, everybody got the same damn idea. They got the same plan now. Right. And that could be that would drive me up a wall. But you got somebody like Elijah and all those guys, they were coming up from Taft, Larry Drew and all them. They all waited their turn. Yeah. And they all kind of bought into everything. Yeah. You can build out a whole player. And I love the approach that Gil took with his son. Yeah. You can get to where you need to get to that way. You can get it from anywhere. If you're good, it doesn't matter. They're gonna find you. But he's building a complete team player. And you hear everyone says to a man, what a nice teammate he is. Yeah. That makes it rewarding. Because trust me, I done had some teams with some really good players, and the egos would be so big, and the parents' egos so big. From the outside looking in, you say, wow, they're winning. But behind the scenes, everybody's miserable. You know, you looking at the calendar like, man, I can't.
7 games left.
Yeah, it's almost over.
So how do you I guess I'm looking for a literal answer. Yeah. How do I convince the parents that waiting your turn is the way? Because it's the biggest concern in high school coaching. We only see, you see Harvard Westlake do it.
Yeah.
You see Sierra Canyon do it a little bit.
Yeah.
But schools are still, other schools, whatever. I'm not saying those two specifically, but schools are getting these transfers and these big players. Like in this climate, is there a way to calm that high level freshman dad down and say, hey man, you got two dudes in front of you that are going to Division I. Wait your turn, but I want them to be the top scorer in the state and all these other things. How do you talk
First, you got to have some credibility, I think. That's the biggest thing. You got to have credibility to show that you've done it before. I think that's the only way you can get through it now. I don't know if you can be new and, starting out and you got a bunch of guys in front of a guy and you bring another freshman in. I don't know if they'll be patient with that. But if I got a little skin in the game, hey, coach, Mr. Wilson, just be cool for me. Listen, I've done this before. He's good enough to get in the rotation. He's going to play. He's, just trust this process. They tend to trust it if you have a little bit of experience doing it. I don't know. This day and age is tough because it is. First of all, the kids are better, and the desire for instant gratification, that desire is larger, and the money down and trickle down to this level. Yeah. The money's here, so now when the money reaches the level, then everything's going to get out of whack now. Now, how do you control it? That's if I was, coaching right now, which I hope to, that's the dynamic I have to master now. Yeah. Because everyone's now looking to get paid. Even though, keep in mind, majority of these guys, nobody gonna play pro, so everybody trying to get as much money they can get now before this train pulls into the station. Yeah. And they're milking people. So that's the landscape, that's the biggest difference, and I don't know how I would maneuver that piece yet.
Yeah, no, I think we're all figuring it out.
Yeah, because the money doesn't change this game.
Yeah, no, the college level is already crazy. Like literally before this show, I had somebody I'm consulting with, like, this school just called an offer $750. The last offer from the other school was $500, and this is major conference stuff. And I'm like, man, how do I tell you no to $750 if that's not the best fit though, and that balance.
They got to find the right balance on that. The kids do, and the families.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a kid. Yeah, he got same thing. Got over $750, and then he took it. He said, "Okay, I'll go here." And then he decided, "Why am I go back in the spring?" Because he was holding the school hostage to get more money, and he got more money to stay. Dang. So they're negotiating. I think. Yeah, they deserve to get paid. Because the universities make so much money and selling uniforms. I remember back in the day, they can make millions of dollars selling uniforms, but if someone bought you a hamburger, it's a violation. Right. Yeah. Terrell Pryor, he traded a jersey for a tattoo. That's all he did. Yeah. And then he gets suspended in the NFL honored like a suspension. And he sat out a few games in the NFL. A tattoo for a jersey, that was it. And sometimes kids had to do that back in those days. Right. So it's a different game now. Now it's the Wild Wild West. There's no regulations, at this point. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Bringing it back to your first, superstar kid, having Farmar. When did you know he was special, and what do you see? You've had him, Larry Drew, Kihei. I'm just thinking about just the point guards. I'm gonna just go with those three. Like, did you recognize they were special, and what about them was special? Yeah,
I knew Jordan was special. When I first got Jordan, he was a little bit different because he thought like I thought. He talked the talk. He understood. He saw the game the way I saw the game. He could explain technique with me. Plus, he was crazy talented. He could run, jump, shoot, but he was incredibly smart. That was a little different. Yeah, I said, okay, he's a little different. But he says, I'm a shooting guard. That's you're a point guard. I'm a shooting guard. I said, man, you're natural point. Most natural point guard I've ever met. You're a point guard. That's how he became point guard. And he wore number 24. And so you're going number 1, you're going to be a point guard. In the discussion, we had a big fight about it. And he ended up being known for wearing number 1 and being a point guard. Yeah. I had a vision for him. Yeah, he was like that. Larry Drew was the same way. Larry was a little smaller. Larry replaced Jordan. So we got a break. Larry was just like his dad, NBA coach. Right. He saw the game the same way. They had a different level of, their IQ was on a whole nother level. Kihei Clark was the same way. Like, and then when you have these high-end point guards, Spencer Dinwiddie, they're the same way they
Interesting, yeah.
saw the game. Like me and you see the game. They see it that way. They talk in the same language as if we would talk. They just saw it. They were abnormally, they were just different. And then when you got your point guard sees a game like that, and by the way, they're really talented, you got a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the main ones, you know. They all have that one common trait. You can see that.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good because I don't think we talk about that IQ, but for that to be the thing that stood out, especially in those fours and the one you have.
Because everybody want to be a point guard,
Well,
and they think
everybody.
but everybody can't be a point guard. Everybody think because a guy about this big, he got to be a point guard. I don't think so. If he don't understand the game, he don't need to be the point guard. He's just going to be an undersized something else, another position.
Right.
I put a 7-footer at the point if he understands the game. Because the point guard's kind of a natural vibe, natural feel.
That's what I was going to ask. Can you develop? I know you can develop a point guard, but can you create a point guard?
I don't think not the over the top guy. That some people have this. Some people going like if you get a guy who's not experienced, he's gonna literally do what you say do. Literal guys don't work. You got to be able to see it and feel it and understand it. I can say to Jordan, what you see out there? And you can say, hey, look, this is how this guy's playing me. I think we can run this action. We do like that type of stuff is.
Yeah.
It just don't come along too often. Yeah. And the ones I've had who thought like that, well, they all end up as pros.
Yeah.
They just see it a little bit differently. You know, like little things now, like with big guys want to all shoot threes. And everybody wants to be something that they kind of maybe really not. That's the hardest thing right now.
Yep.
Convincing the kid to play the position that he's best at.
Yeah, I have those talks daily with a parent. Like, what do you think my kid is? He's a 2. No, like just because he can make shots doesn't mean he's a 2. He don't move. I said he don't move.
Yep.
Like a 2 moves, and can he guard that position? The biggest piece, right? And
There it is. You are what you can guard, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I had a kid at Taft years ago. He was a pure center, and his mother and the trainer and everybody said, "Well, he's a 3." I go, "But he's a center." And they said, but he was 245 and he was 6'10". And he was all back to the basket. Because he steps out and shoots threes with the cones in practice. They say it's a 3, and that was a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point guards, those are the biggest difference in the stars. Yeah.
And as you got those players, right? So I'm a new coach, right? So one day I'm gonna start coaching high school basketball again. I'm starting off, and I start to get players. How do you? I'm sure it goes back to what you started with the connections that you make in basketball. You were able to coach a McDonald's All-American game. You just connected to Nike and the bigger picture and playing in national tournaments and all that. How do you navigate that, right? Like, is it somewhere people are just going to reach out to you because you have the players, or is there a certain way as a coach that you want to put your players in a position to be put on that platform as well?
Well, you know, it's interesting. They'll reach out because it's crazy. Once you start getting players, like when I got Farm, once I got Farm, it started to explode. That's the name and notoriety start to happen with the program, and then that's when they start coming. The outside tournaments, because they sell names.
Yeah.
That we got AJ Johnson coming, or we got Larry Drew. Or they want to sell those names. So once we started to accumulate the players, then that started to come. That's when we got our first deal was with Adidas.
Oh yeah.
We had Jordan. Yeah, when Jordan got so big, we got signed with Adidas.
That's when Adidas was.
They were big.
Pro models. Yep.
Sorry, Nike. I've been a long time. The Pro Model is the greatest shoe I think
you.
ever.
Man, one of my favorite basketball shoes. K8.
How comfortable is that shoe?
I loved it.
Yeah. It's just the best shoe. That was one shoe that I love Nike to death, and I wouldn't trade Nike for nothing. But the Pro Model gonna get in the conversation.
Yeah.
That shoe, patent leather. Here we go. Oh, it's amazing. But so we was with Adidas for a long time, and then we got into a little bit of a bidding war. Nike. I was with Adidas. Went to Nike one year. Went back to Adidas. Then Nike wanted to take us. Well, my contract ended with Adidas, and we got into a little bidding war. And we went with Nike. And I've been with Nike. I was with them 14, 15 years.
Yeah. And so you're 10 years your first stint at Taft was 10 years, correct? And how many city titles? 8?
I won in my first 10. I won 3. I played for 3, but I won league every year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think we won like 7.5, 8 years, didn't lose a game in league as well.
Dang.
But when we won city at Taft in 2004, that was the first time in 4 years. I mean, 40 years since the LA Unified School in the Valley had won the big school in the city. We won the big. I think Poly with Gail Goodrich in 1964 was the last time that happened. But I gotta tell you something in your mind. When I was interviewing for Taft, I remember telling the administration, I was a JV coach, and it was kind of inside for me to move up, but I still had to go to process. And I said, hey, they said, what was your vision for Taft? I said, I'm gonna build a program. I believe I'm gonna build a program that within 5 years will compete for the city title year in and year out. And they was like, Derrick, even Jim Woodard, Derrick, that might be a little bit wishful thinking. And I go, no, I believe this. We're going to compete. Well, it's because the Valley hadn't been able to compete with the city. I said, I'm going to build a program like that. No one saw it. That was no problem. We won it in 4. We didn't compete for it year in and year out. We won it in 4. I saw it. I just thought it was an opportunity for the Valley. And then I had connections. I have a strategy on how to get players.
Yeah. So are you open to talking about that? Let's talk about that, because that's what I'm saying. Is like these are the things that people try to do, and they do it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And they end up pooping the bed, for lack of better words. Like they'll get the players and can't keep them, or they'll start off well and then it just falls off. You see it all the time. You've consistently been able to get players, and you're 30 years in this? How long have you been in this?
This will be 34, 35 years.
35 years in this. And so what's the strategy?
Strategies, look, I view everybody as a mouthpiece. It does not matter. It's like, what's this whole big thing, affiliate marketing and all that? Basically the big pyramid. I view everyone as a mouthpiece. Like, so when I meet a mother, I'm going to take care of her child because I want her to say, when my name come up, oh yeah, Derrick Taylor, oh yeah, he did it. He meant like Bishop Brooks played for me last year. His father Bote. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. When they wanted to come to Taft, we talked about it. I just try to take care of their child. I don't promise them you're going to start. You do that, then you got to do that. I don't make promises like that I can't keep. I can just make promises what I'm going to do to your child. I'm going to take care of your kid. I'm going to put your kid in the right environment. My history speaks for itself, but this is what we're going to do. You do this. He does his part, and history repeats itself. He's going to get all these things. And so then I make them talk for me. I let them talk about the vibe, how I take care of the kid, how I've done everything I say I'm gonna do. And I just, but it is taking care of that child first, man, and making sure that he doesn't want for nothing. Like most people know, I live in the city. I drive all over the place. I take a kid to and from. I make sure they get home safe. I make sure they don't have to worry about it when we're in school. If they don't have money, they know I'm gonna feed them. I go off campus to get them food. I'll do anything I need for them, for my program, from the lowest kid the last kid on the far south to the superstar varsity guy. Everybody, I get the same treatment. That's something people don't know.
Yeah.
That's when they say, when I remember, I can be aggressive and fuss. And they say, how do those kids take it? They know it ain't personal. I never personally attack a child. I don't believe in being mean to a child either.
Yeah. No, I was telling Karina before you got here, I said, Derrick is a character. I said, on the court,
I talk crazy.
The wolf. Yeah, see? There you go.
Crazy.
There's a purpose behind it as well, though, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, first of all, for me, I talk crazy sometimes because I'm competitive in one. But so I don't get real mad, I get sarcastic. Yeah. So I'll say sarcastic things, and that calms me down. Yeah, I think sometimes, I don't know. I don't try to be funny. I just say what comes to my mind. My mother was kind of like that, big personality all over the damn place, and I'm kind of all over the place. Mixing my personality and me talking all the time and my adult ADD. Shit, you don't know what's going to happen with me. I'm going to say something, act crazy. But I just believe in the kids, and I'm not afraid to let a child, like I tell a parent, I'm not afraid to let a child be a star. I'm not afraid to let a child own this experience. I done had my time. This is all you young people in the room, you'll see it over time. This ain't nothing but a memory. We're just building memories. And so I have to, with this short period of time, I want this to be positive. I want a child to come back and see me. When a kid say, hey, you was right, coach, or you did something good for me, or that was good advice. That's why I get it. Right. It's no more than that. I don't look at it about me. I don't give a crap about my career. I just been fortunate. Why? Because people like you who can play, players.
Right.
You know, I don't know no coach who won no title without no players, right? But take care of the damn players.
Yeah.
Quit making it about you, and get your damn ego out the way.
Yeah.
And if you're a grown man and you coach you with maturity, coach them kids up and then allow this child to be who he gonna be, and accept him for who he is. Don't try to make him something he ain't. Even socially, accept him for who he is. Understand him. Get to know him personally. Let him own their experience. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't do no more than that. Kid can make any type of suggestion they want. Okay, if I can make it work for the team, I do it. Just keep them happy. Let them play. Let them own it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. You said quick little thing. You said put them in the right environment. And so what does that mean? What is putting the kid in the right environment? So you're taking kids from all walks of life, right? Especially out here in Southern California. It's a big melting pot. You get a kid from LA who may not have much. You get a kid from the Valley who lives in Calabasas. You get different types of players. You know, get NBA kids, like you said, movie stars kids. You get somebody who parents is grinding just to hold it together. What's the environment that basketball brings them into that helps develop anybody?
You got a group of people who are always around each other. You got a group of people fighting for a common cause. You got a group of people you practice so much, you together so much, you have a brotherhood that you become one. And we always talk about, obviously we're gonna respect each other, number one. And we always gonna look out for each other. It does not matter. Through hella high water, we're going through an experience together. We all in we all in this thing together. No one else understands outside what we understand, what we're going through. And we must at all times take care of each other. Pick a man up if he's struggling. Help him out. I preach that all the time. If you're in the classroom with a teammate and you know he's struggling academically, don't say, oh man, this guy, he over here struggling, coach. No, let's figure out a way to pick him up. Let's help him up. Let's constantly help each other. Like people talk about networking, we network amongst each other. How we can use all of our particular skills and resources to help each other out. See, because a wealthy kid might have a different type of problem than a poorer kid in the team.
Right.
But we all may have something we can offer one another. Yeah. And so we just do it and we stay together. Here's something most people don't know about my teams. My teams do not argue with each other. You don't see arguments. You very rarely will ever see an argument. They're not allowed to fight because we have to solve. My dad was like that. My dad wouldn't let us fight, probably because my mother had 6 kids in 8 years. So I had 6 kids for age 28. So we saw arguing, hell, ain't nobody gonna get no rest. So that's why we couldn't argue in the house as kids. So my basketball players can't argue. But we make them solve problems. So they have to take a moment to listen. And if they can't solve it, then we go to court. I'm the judge. We go into the office and we hold court and we let each other speak, let each other hear each other out. Then we come to a common agreement and then it's over. When we walk out the room, that can never be our problem again. If that's a problem again, then now we officially got a problem. It has to be solved in that room, but making them listen to each other. Those are the type of environments, is understand another man, listen to another man, listen to other people's stories.
Yeah.
Understand where man is coming from and what he's going through. And it's not about, we know he got some rich, we know he got some poor, we know he got celebrity kids, but those kids going through stuff too. People go through things. Right. See, us in this room right now, we're going through something different right now, all of us. We're going through something, but people go through things, but understand that and respect it. And that's what I demand of them. I don't care about nothing else, but you're going to respect each other, and it's never going to be personal. We're not going to cross the line on no personal attacks on one another. That is absolutely off limits. And you just preach it every single day, and they'll buy into it. They'll accept it. But plus, it makes them safe. If I'm a kid who ain't got nothing, and if I was in a program where I'm on the team with some wealthy kids and they flaunting it, and I know I don't have anything, how would I feel if the coach then kind of control that environment? Well, now you can look down, or I feel inferior because of what I don't have. But if you put a kid in a program where everything, no, we all equal, we're gonna look out for each other, we're in the same brotherhood, we're just not, then that kid who don't have, he feels okay. And so I want him to be himself, regardless who you are is not determined. Your value is not determined by any type of financial status or whatever social status.
Yeah.
So I just stick to it like that.
No, I love it because you didn't mention anything about basketball, and that's the most important part. I think these coaches get caught up on the skill level of a player and all that stuff they can bring on the court. But what you're talking about is creating an environment any coacher should have, whether it's a job, a team, or whatever, is that you find that common ground and the support and the resources of one that impacts the whole group.
And they will get together and they will work together as a group. They will work for one another. I will work for you. I will run through a wall for you. And that's what we want to create. Let them work for one another. But everybody's important. Yeah. But everybody's important, from the scorekeeper to the manager to the little girl who sets the food up for you, whatever, or the little boy who's mopping the floor for. It doesn't matter. Every single soul is important and should never be neglected. Never. And I always say hello and speak to everybody, make them all feel important. Everybody's important. Yeah. I think that's the environment I think you have to have.
I love that. I love that. You should be a coach or consultant. I'm just letting man.
I just believe in
walk around to these gyms and let these people know, because it's not happening. That's the piece that's missing, I think, that we had growing up. Yeah. You know, is just that we were held accountable, and the culture and environment, toes on the line, like just little stuff like that. Yeah. Like it meant something.
I'm laughing because I'm laughing because toes on the line. We line up on the baseline. Toes must be on the line.
Man, I'm
it's a listening position.
My 6th grade team right now.
Yes.
They think I'm crazy. I'm like, yo, your toes aren't on the line. But like, it's right. No, toes
on the line.
Like, I'm not playing with you. And they're so much in this generation. They're not focused.
No.
They're Instagram generation, right? I got 8 seconds to look at what I need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, as I'm talking, they're
they can't
like, yo, I'm right here, and I'll stop talking. Like, we're gonna waste practice time. Like, those little things are gonna build young men. You know, we're in boys basketball, or young women. That's what's gonna build them for the future and to be better basketball players at the same time. Because that's the stuff that's important.
It's super important. I mean, because you got to focus, you got to pay attention, you got to hear, you got to listen. I mean, because the average kid does not realize that. From all the time he playing Pop Warner, pick up a Pop Warner basketball, travel ball, park league, whatever. Majority of your careers are coming to an end at 18.
Yeah,
it's done. Like all that time just to get 18, and you're gonna be in the park playing with old dudes like me with goggles on and knee pads smelling like Bengay. That's what you're gonna get. A bunch of old dudes that take 20 years to stretch and warm up just to play. They don't even understand it. This time is finite. It's little. And so just come in and enjoy this thing and just enjoy this experience. And if you're good enough to advance, you advance. But it has to be an experience. So you got to be this. You walking through and say we're teammates together, and we're old men, and we just happen to cross paths at the airport, and you're with your grandson, I'm with mine. Hey, oh no! Hey, come here. That's Todd right there. We won city together. We played. That's one of my teammates. Then me and you will rehash.
Yeah.
I remember the coach. He was crazy. He was remember all that. And then our stories start to flow, and then the kids start to see that. They'll hear our stories. But me and you went through a common experience that we can always share. I think that's the most important thing for children and kids to grow up and if it's positive, they have stories for their kids, and I just live by it.
Yeah, I love that. Your most memorable game. I'm gonna shorten these little time periods in your life. Your first stint at Taft as the varsity coach. Your most memorable game.
My very first. I don't know. Oh, well, it was a loss. We went to Simi Valley. I think they were number one in the Valley. We played in the Simi Valley tournament in the semifinals. I was my first year at Taft, and everybody anticipated us just to lose by 40. They were sick of a kid going to Gonzaga, and we went down to the wire and lost like 1 or 2 points. That was my very beginning, and I started. So, oh my God, we actually kind of good. Hell, I didn't think we could hang. We're kind of good. We got this program. We might be all right. I still think of that my very first year. That stood out like a sore thumb because that was the first time we played a really, really good team. And I remember being anxious. hope we do well. Hope we don't get destroyed on their home court. And I think we lost like 30 seconds ago, under 30 seconds. Then I said, okay, yeah, they won the Valley, so we're pretty good then. We can play a little bit. So that was, I remember that my very first memory. I lost, but I remember that was kind of validating us a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny that you remember the loss of all of them, but it was one that was a positive thing that
because we competed, and I said, okay, we're a little bit better than I thought we were. We can go play a little bit, and after that, we had a little confidence. We didn't care who we played.
Right.
We said we can compete with them. They're in the top, 10 in Southern and all the state.
Wow.
Yeah, we had them, took them under 30 seconds to beat us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you transitioned from Taft over to Bosco, right? Leaving where you went to high school, JV coach 10 years, varsity coach 10 years. What made you decide to leave the Bosco, and what was your experience like being in a private school environment?
Modern day. I thought that I did a lot of Taft, and I left Taft, I thought, in the golden era. I think I could have ran for a while, could have won more titles, because we had loaded teams, had a lot of talent left behind. But I wanted to take on a challenge in modern day.
Was this 09?
No, this was 11, 12. 11, yeah.
And Jay Hart came in after?
Yeah, Jason replaced me.
Yep.
And so I wanted to take on modern day. I had 2 weeks prior to applying to Bosco, I just went there for a clinic. And I was up and I said, okay, I kind of owe a gym, but this kind of works a little bit. And so I kind of liked it. And I just wanted to take the challenge. So I went over to, and the Trinity League was the best league. And I went in there, and then I was the first black head coach in that league history.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a whole lot going on there, and I wanted to venture into something a little bit different. And I thought we did good. We were pretty much 8-2 every year. We just, the 2 losses in modern day.
Yeah.
They'd be close. We couldn't get through them, but I had a really good experience. We won CIF, won state, won the regional finals for state, and lost in the regional finals. We was there 4 years, and we did all that in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried. We was nationally rated and all that. So I think I may have helped a little bit of establishing the Bosco that they are now. Like Matt done taken it, and he's rolling with it. So I'm not taking the credit away from him, but I think we kind of
sparked the flame.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Tyler Dorsey and who else do you have down there?
Daniel Hamilton and Isaac Hamilton, and Vance Jackson.
Yeah, man, some dudes.
Yeah. All them dudes, they playing in Mexico now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I talked to Isaac last week. All 3 of them are down there.
Okay.
So we did pretty good. And Darian Williams with the St. John's. We had some players.
How many NBA pros have you coached?
9.
9 NBA pros.
Yeah.
And then how many pros? Period.
Oh, I've just come in contact with overseas. Oh my God. I don't know, maybe 30 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we still got a bunch of them overseas now.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the secret to developing a pro?
First of all, you kind of identify. You get a kid with talent. You start seeing it. My job is to try to keep developing his talent. Obviously, we all do work on their skill set, but at the same time, you start to identify that he's a player, he's a pro. Then you start teaching them how to think like be a professional, how to play like a professional. So understanding spacing, start understanding reads, understanding timing of all that stuff. Because when you start moving to the next level, that window keeps closing. It gets quicker and quicker. So you start cleaning up their games, but you can identify a kid. Like I think I have a kid now already on my 14U team. He's 13. I think he's a pro. If he continues to develop, there's no way. I would be shocked if he isn't. And I think you know what I'm talking about. Bear.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance to be a pro.
For sure. No, I've been saying this since he was in 7th grade when he's in core.
Yeah, he's your guy.
I was like, yo, just the way he moves.
Yeah, he moves totally different, doesn't he?
At the size that he's at, the DNA is there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's now just teaching them how to read, like constantly they can practice so that they know you need to look at this read, do this, do that. So when you start identifying a little bit, you're not neglecting the others.
Yeah.
But you also see it's so different. Like when AJ Johnson came down to me, I told AJ, I said, I think you're going to be a better pro than you would be a high school collegiate, because he was kind of built to be a pro player.
Yeah.
And so I started trying to teach him how to read, like simple things like this to make a pocket pass.
Right.
Read a pick and roll. Lift. Just read things. And so I start teaching them how to be a pro.
Yeah.
How to
Teaching
be
them
somewhere
again.
on time. How to be responsible. How to eat. How to start resting, and all those things you start talking about the importance of those detail things, so you can stay in the league. Me and you see many people tell enough to get in,
Right?
They can't stay in.
Yeah. It's the responsibility aspect of it, that character aspect.
Yeah, that's
always is
huge.
a man. Yep.
Well, because if you got no character, you're a poor character guy, and I drop $5 million in your pocket, you gonna explode. I mean, I wish I could have you on television or look at you in the cage and look at you study you like a rat in the cage as an experiment, because you finna go crazy. Because you ain't got no character, you don't know how to manage it, you're gonna go bananas. Some people get rude, non-characters get real arrogant, get rude. But this is a month ago, you had nothing. You were humble. Right. So it's that whole process, seeing how people change, how they manage it. How can you stay in it? How can you stay grounded?
Yeah.
How can you stay at the point where you keep learning? Yeah.
You transitioned from Bosco back to Taft.
Yeah.
Came back home.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunate event at Bosco. Seemed like, no particulars, but they didn't want you there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
After winning.
Yeah.
New administration.
New administration.
So that's huge, just as a basketball coach, that y'all know your administrative support is everything, and how you build.
Administration win titles. Like, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but coaches talk about that. Coaches can coach, but generally administration win titles. If you have an administration that's on board and they're supportive, then you got to try to win the title. Because they're going to take not only just resources, it's just going to be a whole supportive structure there for you to succeed. But if you don't have an administration that believes in you, and or if they kind of not the person they want there, then it could be a struggle. We just didn't put up a fight. I mean, we both kind of the administration, we both do that.
Yeah.
It was okay. Yeah.
Right.
It's like there's no bitterness. Like, actually, I even talked to the administrator now. Like, we're pretty decent friends. But during that time, we wasn't gonna work well together.
Got it. And you go back to Taft.
Yep.
Pick up a Kihei Clark.
Yeah. got a private back to public, huh?
Right.
That's a reverse.
Yeah.
And he took off, and you see what we did for him. And it's not just big guy. He little, 5'8".
Man, right.
Little bitty guy, but it was hard finding him a scholarship because people, universities were discriminating because of his size.
And then the kid ends up at Virginia, winning a national title.
As a true freshman.
Playing in the G League and overseas.
Yeah. Played the most minutes in ACC history, won the most games in ACC history. That's over Michael Jordan and all those guys. ACC history, #1 in assists.
Wow.
I mean, he broke records, and he was a kid we couldn't get a scholarship for.
What do you have to do if you're 5'8" to reach that level?
First of all, you got to be a bulldog. You got to be a bulldog on defense regardless. Everyone's going to try to bully you because you're small. They're going to try to post you up. They're going to try to take advantage of you. Little guys, and he had the right. You got to have that, what they call that so-called little man's complex. Just a chip on your shoulder. Kie had that. He just played you in your face all the time. He wanted to be more physical. He wouldn't give an inch. And then plus he was, like Larry and Spencer and Jordan. He saw the game differently. He had that another level of understanding of what he was looking at. But he was a bulldog first. He was tough. And he played hard. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But that's in practice.
He's one of my favorite players to ever see play live.
He's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah.
A little bitty dude.
He put it between our guards' legs. Summer League, it was when Heritage was first, we played y'all in that Summer League. Mm-hmm. Everybody was there for that game, man. He must have put it between our guards' legs, threw it up to somebody. I was like, it's a wrap.
A monster. I mean, that was the first big, that was a big domino that fell, because that was during the time when people were jumping, the big movements were. They would leave in public. Everybody's going private.
Oh no, Kie sat in our office. We was trying to get Kie, and he ended up at Taft.
He came back the other way, and I didn't even know. They called me, say, hey, we've been following you for a while. We want to come. We may be interested in seeing what you got going. I didn't have a point guard.
Man.
And he was a godsend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that.
No, it seems, you know, you attract this level of talent, this type of player, this type of family, right? And it's because you're positioned the right way with what you want to do with them, right? You're there to help them and develop them. Even now, like I can't wait for you to get back on the sideline.
I want to me too. I want to try one more time because I'm 61. I mean I'm still active. I would like to find me a job in sub shop another 4 or 5 years, but I would like to find a place where I can have a young coach.
Yeah.
That we start to groom to become a head coach, and then we can kind of step to the side. You know, like Paul Tate was my assistant.
Yeah.
You know, I watched him. He started at Campbell Hall, and he came over to me. He was a young man. You just seen him growing. You knew he was going to turn out to be something. But I like to get in a situation where I can groom a young guy, and then ultimately step out the way and turn it over to him.
Yeah.
But I would like to get back on the sideline. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can find the right job.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. We're gonna find something out here, man.
Don't be afraid of me.
I'm good as long as the administration is on board, right?
Well, once people get to know me, because I was telling you earlier, it's a lot of misconceptions.
Yeah.
That I don't think people understand.
All right, so we're gonna hop right to that since we're here. Okay, we have a segment called "Fix the Net." What's the misconception? So you tell us it, and you tell us what the truth is, and then you dunk the ball.
Did I dunk it?
Yeah. Okay. So yes.
Well, it's a lot of misconceptions. The truth is, like many people think that I'm the misconception, like I can be egotistical or I'm some hard individual to manage, which is absolutely the opposite. Most people who know me well will tell you I'm more introverted. I give my all to everybody. I'm not egotistical. I don't brag. I'm not loud. I don't think I'm above anyone else. Nothing. I don't allow my kids to think like that. I don't allow that behavior around me. And most people know that. And I'm a total fall in line guy. I don't pull against the grain. And so it's a whole misconception about me because I do, in the newspapers over years, I have spoken my mind. If I think something kind of crazy, it don't make sense. But I just question because I'm curious, not trying to show up anyone. And so I don't believe in that. So that's a misconception about me. Yeah. I'm extremely easygoing, and I spoil my kids. As most people know, I spoil them. I give them everything they want. I'm gonna give it to them if I can. Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Absolutely. And then understanding this, right? And let me know how comfortable you are talking about it. Just your coaching at Taft, everything's good, and then
I'll talk about it.
Yeah, you let go. So what's the misconception about what happened and who you are as a person and as a coach?
Well, the misconception at Taft is that I did something out of line and wrong. And as if I was some people think I was committing fraud. Nothing like that. I've never been in trouble a day in my life. And so I take pride in that. So I think it's a misconception about that. But I only did at Taft. We only did what we were allowed to do. We didn't know we were doing anything wrong by LAUSD standards because the full administration was aware of what was going on. And so that's the big misconception. That's one thing people don't know. People still don't know I've yet to been interviewed yet by the district. No one's ever even spoken to me yet. So, so it's such a bad guy and did such a bad thing, but no one's never spoken with me. It's quite interesting, yeah. But I'm not bitter. Right. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter because that stuff will consume you. I have to figure out how my next step to clear my name because it's very important. I wasn't born with much, but I was born with a name. My dad always told me to protect my name, so I got to protect my name, our family name. So I'm gonna fight to get my name clear. But other than that, that was the whole Taft thing. I still don't fully understand it. Yeah. But
we all have situations like that. We're like, what are they thinking? Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. But you can't, but you live as long as I live. You're going to go through stages. You're going to have issues in life. And you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get back up. Yeah. So, and if you get bitter, man, that's a tough way to live life. Angry or bitter. And I refuse to let that happen. Yeah. I just got to figure out how to fix my problems, but just move on. Yeah. And so that's who I am. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can get my little dunk on there?
Yeah, you could.
Oh, left hand
roll.
finger roll, you know. 'Cause I'm left-handed,
finger
see?
roll works.
Yeah, I shoot right-handed, but I'm left-handed.
Awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And I'm excited about your future and like, you know, you act like you old at 61, but the cool thing about basketball, man, you could do this forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna do as long as I can. I got this little youth group, so that's keeping me young. But I remember we talked earlier. You asked me to give you a mount. You told me that we was talking about Mount Rushmores.
Yes.
If I give you before in closing, like.
Oh no, we got some time.
Okay.
I'll roll you into the Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I had a couple more questions for you.
Keep on going.
Because I think it's important to know because you got the job at J. Sarah.
Yes, it's Sarah.
Yeah, or sorry,
Yeah.
Sarah, not Sarah. Yeah, at Sarah and Gardena. And you were set up to be the coach and take that program. Delray League was looking strong, and then you did not coach.
Yeah.
What happened?
I got sick. I took that job, and I think that's one of the most. I think it's a legendary. To me, it's one of the most. It has the highest potential of any job. Period. I think it's a program I believe that can compete on the level with everybody, Sierra Canyons, the Harvard Westlakes, and all that. So I thought it was set up perfect. Grew up in the area, knew it, but I got really sick. I've been having I had a stomach issue, required multiple surgeries, and I tried to gut it out as long as I could, but it started to get so bad, and the doctors, the surgeons, I had to have the surgery, and it was going to take 8 weeks. Which would have brought me back toward the end of the season. So being gone that long, that wasn't fair to the kids. And then for the very first time in coaching, I made a decision to take care of me over everything else, because you spend all your time sacrificing for basketball, and you sacrifice for other people. And that was the very first time I said, I have to fix me on this one. And so I had to step away. That was it, yeah.
How it's important for us as men, and black men especially, to check in on our health and to not keep pushing when we're in pain and sacrificing, especially as coaches in this game, right? We do it with our marriages, we do it with our parenting, being a dad, and then we do it with our health. How important is it to stop and really, focus on us for a second?
You're right. Everything you do when you start coaching, and especially if you start having a lot of success, but you don't have to necessarily have success. When you start coaching, if you're passionate about it, it is going to strain everything in your life. It really is. It's going to strain your relationship with your wife or your girlfriend. It's going to strain your relationship with your children because you're not home enough. It's going to strain and especially with yourself. I put my health off for a long time. I'll get it. I'll get it this season. I'll get this spring. I'll get it now until you can't. You ain't going to get it until you're forced to get it. But it puts a strain on everything. How do you balance that? And that's the hard part. That's one thing I wish, if I was a younger man, I would do all over again. I would, you never put nothing before your family time. I don't care what's the situation. My suggestion would be, I'm going to block this time off for my family regardless. Unless it's an emergency going on in the program, this is going to be our time. You have to find time. Because you do neglect a lot, and then and you're competitive. You want to win, or you want to kind of make the corrections from your mistakes all the time. And that stuff consumes you. Yeah, yeah. And then when you get big, then you get players and all that. You strain everything.
Yeah. So it's all about managing that time and setting aside that early in your career and build around that.
And build around it. Yeah, and don't sacrifice your family for this game, because you do lose people on the wayside, because it does take a lot out of you. It takes a lot from you. So I know that feeling well, but I just tell young people, just prioritize what's important. This game is going to be here, winning and losing. It ain't about that. Build the relationships, maintain your family, your friends.
No, thank you for that. Thank you for that advice. We'll hop into the My Rushmore now, okay? Putting you on the spot. I need your Rushmore, the top 4 players that you coached, specifically do I do Taft or do it everywhere? No, we're going to do Taft.
I keep Taft. Okay.
Your top 4.
Well, number 1 is Jordan Farmar. Even though Spencer Dinwiddie had the best pro career, Farmar was
I'll argue with you about that.
okay. Best pro career?
Yeah, Farmar got some rings, man.
I know. Yeah, now winning wise, yes, stat wise, Spencer got the best. But I think Spencer would like have some of the rings and play with Kobe. You got a point that Jordan got 2 rings. Yeah, you do. Farm, Larry Drew, Spencer Dinwiddie. It might be 5. I don't know if I can go 4, because Steve Smith. I mean, Steve Smith was a monster. Most people don't know that. The football player.
Yeah.
Like, he was different.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, football season end on Saturday night in city playoffs, and we're gonna play Wednesday. He comes Monday, he's sore, so he don't really practice. He just walks through. Then Monday shoots, and then Tuesday he comes in, he walks through again, just get some shots out. Everybody know he's gonna start, don't matter. Start him on Wednesday, he got 31 and 15. Yeah.
Pro athletes are crazy.
He was a pro athlete, yeah. He just played like a pro. Wasn't even in shape yet. And then, late Bryce Jones.
Yeah.
God, dog, didn't you leave out DeAndre Daniels and
sure
Eugene
did.
Phelps?
And Kihei.
Kihei. What do you do? I mean,
AJ Johnson.
AJ Johnson. You leave out, I know, pros.
And then we even go to Bosco.
The Bosco,
Where
I know.
Dorsey and
The
the Hamiltons, all that.
Daniel Hamilton.
Man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was the youngest one. Yes.
The youngest one.
Yeah.
Isaac was sensational, and then Daniel comes along too. They were different type of players. Isaac was just a scoring machine.
Yeah.
And Daniel was a everything dude.
Right.
But then you had Tyler Dorsey.
Yeah.
You had a lot of people. I've been fortunate.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 4 for you would be Farmar, Larry. I'm putting Kihei in there.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to shout out my young fella, because I think he is so talented. And if he gets his mind right one day, DC, man.
Oh, I love DC.
So
I
talented.
know, the most gifted. It should be in there. Crazy as it sounds, wasn't it? You don't have to worry about high school, whatever. Demetrius Caleb is an NBA, a professional athlete. He's a professional
100%.
player. He'll be a better player. I told him now, just get in shape and just get into a camp somewhere. Just go to one of these free agent things. Just go to, it does not matter. He's more.
Go for that.
For that type of play, not structured.
People think I'm crazy.
No,
when
you're
I talk to
absolutely right.
college coaches for him, and they're like, "Yeah," but I'm like,
No, you're right.
He is the most talented kid. He does the most innate things on the court that I've ever seen.
Yes.
And they make sense.
Yeah.
He's just ridiculous.
People just can't have trouble dealing with his quirkiness.
Yeah.
And you got to manage that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think no doubt. I think he's one. If I had to go back, if I would coach the kid all over again, I would have coached him differently. I don't think I coached him to the best of my abilities. I think because with me and him, he digs in. He's stubborn.
Yeah.
He challenges you. Then it's easy for you to say, okay, then you dig in. But no, that's not with DC. DC will do anything. He will do the right thing. He'll do everything you ask him to do. But I told him, I think he's more set up to be a pro than any other. Like AJ Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told AJ was asking me, what do you think about school? I was like, why go to college?
Right.
I think you better, because I felt if he went to college, he only weighed 152 pounds. If you struggle in college, which he was going to struggle, bigger, stronger guys, transfer portal, no problem. They go from, they being the scouts, it goes from what you can do to they start focusing on what you cannot do.
Yeah.
I said, you go overseas, it don't matter if you struggle. See, because you're 17 years old, 18 years old, away from your family, you playing with grown men, you're supposed to struggle. But we still see he got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
NBA's about potential.
Yeah.
And so I think if he went to college, he's still stuck he's stuck. Look like Arterio Morris, who top 10 player in the country, struggled 1 year at Texas. Now he on that. Everybody say, well, he can't shoot. He really can't do this. You don't want the scouts looking at what you cannot do. You want to still stay on that side where people say, hey, his potential. He averaged only, age 2.8?
Yeah.
In the first round. Yeah. He playing now, though.
Right.
He getting double figures every night now.
Yep.
He's starting to show out a little bit. Yeah. So that was my mindset with AJ the whole time. Like
that.
and he didn't like school. So it made sense for him. I felt for him, but here's the most rewarding to me because he don't have nothing. Like this basketball's everything. He had to make it, and he did it. Yeah. And I get good reports. He's real frugal with his money. Yeah. I'm proud of him for that.
Stays in the gym.
Yeah, stays in the gym, works out. He ain't out drinking, doing that ain't his thing. No. But I'm proud of that, of what he's turning into. Yeah. I talked to him. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give him a call today. You have to call him a certain way. He got all these codes. It's crazy. Yeah. By the third call, he'll know when to pick up. It's like the bat signal or some shit, man.
No, getting in touch with NBA players is literally one of the hardest things in the world.
It's done.
It is so crazy.
That's great, yeah. Dinwiddie's my neighbor. Like, we live across the street from one another. So every year, his mom's birthday is 2 days, Stephanie's birthday is 2 days before mine, so we always have a party. So we know he's gonna be at the party. And then we talk throughout the year. I just Instagram him because he'll answer 10 days later. So I go to the house last year and I said, okay, man, enough is enough. Give me the hotline number. I'm not dealing with that generic crap. Right. Like y'all know every pro got a generic number, but they got a line. Yes. I said, I need the line. I don't need that other junk, man. I'm not messing with that. And I don't call you all the time anyway. And then the mother says, don't ask for that, because he ain't got one. He just got that. He don't pick up for me either. He don't pick up for nobody.
He don't pick up for his mama.
Oh, he hard to pick up, man. Them dudes, but they schedules are so crazy.
Right. They got a lot going.
Yeah,
during the season. During the season, yeah. So, funny stuff. Yeah. All right, so where we flip the script, okay. 2 questions for me. Could be about anything in the world.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, what is the future? Because this is this battle going, this inevitable battle of it's out here now, the rise of prep schools compared to traditional schools in terms of athletes. Do you think a kid, he has to go the prep school route? Is that the only route? I mean, you think that's the best route for him to go? What do you think? Or can he get the same spot, get to the same place just in a traditional high school?
I think each kid is different, right? So that I just had a kid who was in a private school for 3 years and moved him to a smaller prep school, a local prep school. Best thing to do for his career, because he was stuck in this box to play in this system at this school, and his confidence was just gone. Moved him to another school, this prep school, where the coach was like, hey, you gotta play. Like, if you don't do the things that I know you can do, you're gonna sit down. Like, I need you to shoot. And so the mindset is different. The grind was different. They had like a real, probably like junior college style hell week or hell 3 weeks where he was in crazy shape. He was, coach, I don't know if I'm gonna make it tomorrow. I was like, you just have to show up. So all you do is show up. And he got through, and he's in the best shape of his life, and he's just become this better player, right? And it's a kid who you would think should stay in a private school setting. Always been in private school his whole life, clean cut, straight lace, do what you say type of kid, but that was the best thing for him, and he wouldn't take it back. And he was at a school that made the open division. Wow. And they didn't have strong guard play. And he would have been the game changer for him, but he's like, I don't care. Like, this was for me to get to where I need to be. Yeah. And so, but then I think some of these prep schools, they just stack so much on talent. Yeah. So I have another kid who went to a prep school where he shouldn't have went, because they just stack up on talent, end up leaving, going to another prep school, kind of same situation. And so his whole senior year was just him. Now he's competing every day, practice, playing against high level teams, and like being in that atmosphere. But his senior year was nothing like he thought it would be. Yeah. So he lost out on an experience where he was already committed to college. Should have just stayed. If you were going to do all that, you should have just stayed. If you were going to go to a prep school situation where you were going to be highlighted as that player, the player for the team, cool. But when you were going to these other places that, hey, there's a lot of talent, and you, mindset-wise, I'm gonna go and get it. But he missed out on that experience. Yes. I think where this is headed as a basketball whole is that prep schools are like these European clubs, right? The 16, 17U under type situation. Junior colleges and colleges are like the G League now. Yeah. Kids are getting paid.
Yeah.
And so I think there's going to be a direct connection from actually youth sports all the way through.
Yeah.
So you go through, your middle school club team, and that connects you to your high school club team. That's connected to a prep school that's going to build you up. Now, I think there's always going to be the Harvard Westlake, Sierra Canyons, who operate kind of like prep schools.
Kind of, yeah.
There's a little, they don't, the schedule is different, but on the basketball side, they have every resource you need, and they travel the country and do all those things. So I think there's always going to be a place for those, but I think for basketball, we need to shift to that European model because here they believe in you need 3 hours of homework every day. In Europe, they don't do homework.
Right.
And you're not any dumber because you don't do
Exactly.
homework.
Exactly.
And so you go to school for 5 hours out there and you get to train your sport for 3 hours a day. And then you got the rest of the day to be a kid and enjoy life. Out here is go to school all day, got practice, got weights, got homework.
Yeah.
And then you got to do what you did.
Get
You
back
got to
up,
go to sleep and do it again.
Do it again.
And so it's backwards from how you can develop. We're out of the industrial age of education. We're into this new AI technology space. How do we maximize our productivity with what we have and learning still being educated for sure. That never goes away. But also being able to develop to the highest level for whatever we do, whether it's basketball or piano.
Yeah.
What are we doing to become an expert in that space? Because that's who gets paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, No, that's my only question. I want to get from another point of view because like it's this ongoing battle where, everyone said, "Well, you gotta go to prep school now," but I said, "No, you can still get it from here too." But it's just a battle because even with the shoe companies, with the exception of you got a Harvard Westlake and you got a Sierra Canyon and you got a Mater Dei, maybe a Bosco. But most of the shoe company resources are now, and Fairfax still in there, are shifting away to like those super leagues, putting their resources into those prep leagues.
Yeah.
And so like Nike started a little EY, was talking not little, big, EYBL.
Well, so the difference between that and what the other super leagues for the prep schools are, those are actual traditional schools though.
Yeah.
Every single one of those schools has a real traditional academic environment.
Yes.
And so that's who they only partner with currently, at least. And so that's why, you got the biggest Nike dude in high school, AJ Devonsta, but he's not in the EYBL Scholastic.
No.
Nah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that their school isn't traditional. They have the online academy and all that. Most of those schools that are in the grind session, that's what they do. The OTE, that's what they do, right? And so they're separating themselves, Nike, by being part of this. That's why they call it the Scholastic.
Nice.
Because they're connected to the traditional academic environment.
Well, I think it's some value to that, because some of the I think a child still needs some type of socializing.
Yes.
Like, it's valuable to me. It's important to walk down a hallway, or to sit in the cafeteria at lunch, to go to another school event, sit in the classroom with your classmates, and even in the off season, just going to a football game and just doing something different. I think a child should at least experience a couple of years of that. I don't know what happens if he just goes to some school and they just online the whole time. What's the residual effects?
They become very testosterone driven. So I did in my first year of court. I had 8 kids. We sat in a conference room together and we were on the court together. And it was just like, oh man, y'all need to get out, get away from me. Like y'all need to go see some girls. Y'all need to go like hang out with people who don't play basketball. Like they were so locked in and focused. And I was like, I'll never do that again. I did that one year and I never did it again. That's when I shifted core to be in a traditional setting. I was like, I can't do that. That's not good, healthy for these kids. Now those kids got really good. That's Johnny Juzang, DC,
they're
Terry,
good now. Yeah.
All them dudes, like they were great at basketball, right? But I was like, I'll never do that again. And I shifted to that. And so I'm a big believer in the traditional education because of the social aspect.
Right. They need
like just
that.
like you're saying. It's 100% true. It's like you get to experience everything. You get to go and play, go run track and field. You don't just have to do basketball.
Yes.
Playing multiple sports helps you athletically. All those little things are what's important. Now, it's not to say that these prep schools don't do a good job.
No.
There's some of them who do a good job, but I think it should be focused more on the juniors and seniors.
I think
Them
so.
coming in as freshmen and sophomores is socially could be tough.
I agree with that. I think if they can manage 2 years and have some type of idea of, you know, being socialized that way, I just think, I don't know. I just think some of their growth gets stunted a little bit when they don't have a chance to interact with others. But I think at least 2 years. That's what my suggestion. But it really works good for upperclassmen. And then, you know, it's a lot of preps because they do a really good job.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them with no regulations, and you get these mom and pops, and they do terrible jobs. There's some guy just hustling. He knows how to sell it. He knows how to talk that talk.
Yep.
You start getting kids from all over the country, and everything you sell, what you're selling, you don't even deliver it.
Yep.
And those type of things I always, you know, because you hear about those stories all the time.
100%.
Those are things I worry about.
I'm real about all that, but the kids like, don't go there. They don't do this.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you to your face.
Yeah.
I do it, but with traditional schools.
For real.
The truth is the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's going to shift. I think we're going to see another big shift in this next year and a half because of NIL. Because I think NIL is going to really exist in high school basketball, especially in Southern California in the next year, where it's a real thing. And so these schools are going to be connected with their little funds and they're going to get kids. And so how are we preparing for that as coaches, as consultants for basketball players and guiding them like what's important?
How's an administration of the school going to deal with it, with not knowing it?
Right.
When if I'm fortunate enough to get a high school job at a smaller private school, then what comes with me is a little bit of attraction. Then how do they manage it?
You bring them in on it. I think that's the biggest part. I think that's that's what's been hidden from private schools, right? We've all gotten kids in and had to help with their tuition in some kind of way.
Oh yeah.
Legally, right? And helping them. Right. You bring in the administration on it and find a way for it to be totally legal.
Exactly.
How we give out those funds and it's going to be just like college turned into. There's a GM who manages the money for the program.
Yes.
And you have to have the right person in that place who's trustworthy and understands business to get these kids and their families. And what are we really paying for? Are we paying for him to play basketball? Are we paying for him, what are we really paying for? Which at the end of the day, it's because they can hoop.
Because they can hoop. Yeah, because the NIL is down. It's coming down. It's a trickle down all the way.
Yeah.
It's here now.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to, because this high school kids getting paid now. Matter of fact, there's been high school kids getting paid for quite a long time. Right. I've known people getting paid for a long time, a real long time. So it's here, but it's out in the open. So that's going to change the game. And then what you said about the AI done, everybody got to keep growing. Yeah. This whole world is changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Question 2. That was one question. Great question.
Well, that was my main one. And then I want to. May not be a question. It's just want to know. Just how can we keep supporting you? It's not even a question. It's just something I want to say. Well, it might be a question. How we can keep supporting you? I think you are. Most people don't. I mean, I know, and most basketball people know. You're like a pillar of this basketball community now. I mean, you're here, and people, and what you do, is respected on a high. It's totally respected by coaches and people. And I want to know, as an older man watching what you do, I just want to know what can we do to get behind you and support you?
Man, you guys are coming on this podcast and taking your afternoon and just talking to me. I'm all about giving the right information, like your experience, everything you've been through. Like there were so many jewels for so many people, whether you're a parent, a kid, a coach, an administrator. We touch so many different aspects of the game today, and I want to be the place where people can get that information for free. Not everybody has access to you. You know, right. Yes. You're open to speaking to anybody, but this kind of access where you come in and we just talk like this, that is the biggest thing. And so tell people to come on this podcast, and then 2, let me help you. Like my goal is to connect people to where they're supposed to be. Like you're supposed to be coaching somewhere, like you said, developing the next man. Like that's when I leave here, that's all I'm really going to be thinking about is how to make sure you in a space where you get to maximize who you are to help develop these kids. So if you need help, you need a plug for anything in the basketball world. If I don't know how to do it, hey, Derrick know how to do it, or whoever else knows how to do it. Like we have that connection. And so I just want to be that bridge of support to anybody who needs it.
Okay. And thank you. And that I'm going to extend that back to you. All the resources I have, we feel that we can further you along. Then you need to, don't hesitate to call me, because I have no problems recommending or using resources or using whatever I have to help you out. I just think we got to help. Man, you're the future. You're the next generation. You're here now. I want to see it. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
I watched you start this thing.
Right. No, yeah. That's the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. 24-second shot clock, where people could find you on social media or the world, and then any message you have for them. You got to look it up.
Well, I'm old. I don't even know my Instagram. I think I'm at, I got my Hoop Farm Basketball on Instagram. And then you see how old I am. Like, I can't even find Instagram on my thingy. But I think I'm at D Taylor 81463 at Instagram. You can just look me up.
Just type in Derrick Taylor, y'all.
Yeah. I don't know. Just type in Derrick Taylor.
He's my friend. Look him up, Derrick Taylor, under Todd Has a Plan friend.
Yeah.
There you go.
And anybody, if you feel I can help you, and especially young guys, if you feel I can help you with clinics, or you want me to come speak, if I have the time, I'll do that. I'm not above that, and I'm just here. I love the basketball community. I want to give back to the basketball community, and I'll do anything for anyone if I can fit it in the schedule, but I will definitely do it. I'm available to help anybody.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
It's me all the time, man. So I was tame today.
He was. That's all we have for you today, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.